celebrated something we call Thanksmas because my brother from Arkansas and his wife and 2 dogs, they came up. They do this every year, but we don't see them for Christmas. So we do our Christmas present exchange at the same time, and that's fun. And it's great to have them. It's also very nice. This morning they left just as we were about to walk out the door, kind of, not too long before. So it's kind of nice to take a deep breath as well. But we're celebrating today, Advent starts. So we're rolling into that whole holiday season. As we all know, there's a number of holidays in many, many different spiritual traditions, many different religions that are all congregating around this month. So we're ready to get rolling. But that means we need to have some actions we can take to stay centered, to keep ourselves grounded, keep it together, as they say. We've talked about actions to take for our spiritual health and mental health a lot. We talk about saying our gratitudes. We talk about going out and getting some exercise, or doing breathing exercises sometimes when we need to, or going to a therapist. There's just so many things. Coming to the Mindful Spiritual Center is an amazing right action to help lift our energy. I already feel lifted being here after so long. Yay. But right action is also a core metaphysical principle in many different religions. And thinking of Buddhism right now, it's one of the steps on the Noble Eightfold Path, if anybody's gotten into any Buddhist ideology. It's a roadmap. That Eightfold Path is a roadmap to liberation from suffering. Now, the principles of the Buddhist right action emphasize the ideas of acting in ways that are beneficial not just to us, but to others. So right speech, in other words, speaking truthfully, kindly, and with intention.
You've been way too long.
I forgot how to talk. But so right speech. Again, after the election, I wasn't doing right speech for a day or two. There was a few days, but we can get back to it by practicing some of these things. And then, of course, right livelihood, which is earning a living in a way that doesn't do harm to yourself or others. And right action is not used verbatim in the Bible, but we also find it there. Because the concepts are deeply embedded in the teachings. The ethical conduct, moral choices, living a righteous life. And you think about like the 10 Commandments. It prohibits stealing, killing, adultery, bearing false witness, all those things. Matthew 7, they have the golden rule. It tells us about doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, which of course means it's going to promote empathy and consideration in our actions towards others. To love thy neighbor as oneself. Again, acting with compassion, kindness, generosity. Overall, the Bible does encourage us to act with that integrity, and it provides a moral compass to navigate. So what right actions can I take? So, a lot of you know that I've been a women's self-defense teacher for a number of years. And so I'm going to take action to continue, again, teaching those self-defense classes, being an advocate for, women and our LGBTQ community, and also helping with court reform. That's another step I can take to maybe work on those things that I'm concerned with. So my right actions are going to align with my spiritual, political beliefs, my abilities, and yours are going to align with yours. So what abilities, what spiritual beliefs do you have? What techniques would you use to take those right action steps that you can take to help lift yourself and help lift those around you? We all are here to do different things, and we are all here to love each other, like Pat said. So how do we do these actions out of love? Sometimes I've been dropping into judgment a little bit. So I have to do those self-care things to help raise my energy spiritually and get back to that higher level, that love level. Now, as I work at it, these words by Rumi speak to me, and it really, I think, has a lot of similarity to that beautiful poem that you shared, Pat. He says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase, each other, doesn't make any sense. So again, that's about rising above what we see on this physical plane. You know, we are spiritual beings having that physical existence. So we are going to still have to act during this physical presence. And right action is not just a lofty spiritual idea. It's a practical guide for our day-to-day lives. So some of those actions that we can take are, of course, mindful awareness and mindful meditation. We've talked about that a million times. That helps us to impact our actions because we're more present. Ethical reflection, regularly examining our actions and motivations and evolving those things to align. And compassion practices, intention settings. And compassion practices like, you know, we have this great food that's being collected for, you know, Pat works hard. That's an action she's taking to help feed my people. Mindful communication by speaking truthfulness, kindness, and intention. Speaking from a place of love. Ethical consumption. So in other words, making choices that align with your values again, and minimize the harm. And then reflection on these actions and our self-inquiry really lead to better decision making. So environmental action is going to be another one of those focuses for me right now. And a lot of you know I've been traveling a lot lately. That's why I haven't seen you guys much the last several months. In September, I was in Alaska. And I've heard about those receding glaciers. I've read about them. But boy, when you actually see it, it's stunning to really understand how far they've receded, how much has changed. I remember I was in Hawaii, and I was seeing the impact of that glacial change, that recession, on the Hawaii, their climate. So I saw the effect of the rising seawater. And there's also weather pattern changes in that, you know, they're drier now. The climate is drier. It's a rainforest, basically, and it's drier. But there's things that can be done, of course. Last year's deadly fires on Maui, we were right by Lahaina, which is where that happened. There was over 100 people that were killed in those fires. And a lot of that had to do with those drier conditions. There was other factors as well, but we stayed near there. And we saw so many people working to help those affected, to educate. And the people were working on everything from the cleanup in the area, you know, because they're still working on the cleanup a year later, to rebuilding. There's a lot of plans on rebuilding and how to do that and make the area more resistant to issues like the ones that happened to cause the fires to go out of control. And there were so many people helping people displaced. It was just a wonderful thing to see. There was an event that we went to. We dressed up in Halloween costumes. We were there on Halloween. And there was an event to hand out candy to the kids that were displaced from the fires. And it was just see those kids' faces, because they didn't have a place to trick or treat. This event gave them a place to trick or treat. And it's just those simple things. Seeing their faces was really amazing because they got to let it go for just a little while. And it was such a small right action to be able to give them that gift, to lift them up. Seeing that work that people were doing all across the board, different things, motivated me to look for more opportunities locally here to impact climate change. So I applied to the National Park Service to be an ecological monitor. And I'll tell you more about that when I know more about that. But I'm probably gonna, I'll probably be down at the Arch Grounds doing this work when it all shakes out. So, of course, practicing right action consistently, takes a lot of mindfulness, but we still can drop into judgment and have those difficult times. So we have to have strategies to overcome those obstacles, to be consistent. And we can practice, cultivate that patience. What do? We do a lot of meditating, and we work to practice patience. Meditating helps us practice patience and forgiveness. How much forgiveness can we really, really embody? We talk about forgiveness as being one of the keys to spiritual practice and to lifting ourselves. That's one of the big ones. Seeking support from community. Here we are, seeking support from each other, lifting each other. Coming here to the Mindful Spiritual Center today could be your right action for today. So, to close, embracing that right action is really transformative when you become clear and intentional about it. It's a powerful tool for creating that more meaningful life. By cultivating that awareness and ethical reflection and compassion, we can make choices that lead to a greater well-being for ourselves and others. I'm just going to ask you to take 1 second to take a step back, kind of settle in for just a moment, take a breath with me, and consider what right actions might align with your spiritual beliefs, your abilities, and your current conditions. Because it's different for all of us. Just take a moment and let something bubble up. Again, coming to MSC today could be your right action for today. Maybe forgiving someone that's been difficult to forgive. Maybe contributing food to feed my people. Or maybe singing to lift our spirits. There's many things we can do. Just start contemplating what those right actions are. Thank you. Right now, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's just about taking a step. Taking a step towards peace and joy and fulfillment. Mark Twain said 20 years ago, nope, he didn't say 20 years ago. He said many years ago. 20 years from now. He said 20 years from now, a long time ago he said 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed in the things you did not do than in the things you did. And Arthur Ashe, I don't know if anybody remembers Arthur Ashe, he was a great tennis player who broke some racial barriers. He said, or he implored actually, start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. So may your journey be filled with wisdom, compassion, and the courage to act with integrity. God bless.